of 3.5, but not a lot.
I don't have that paper with me either.
I took it out then. Okay, I took it out. So we just covered 3.1 to 3.4.
And then 3.6, you do know that. I don't know what's on this thing, but it.
Did I put optional on that?
I don't know, I just printed it.
When I was doing homework that you told us to do
Yeah.
before the last test,
Mm-hmm.
one of the sections that you told us to do, I thought that we hadn't done.
Okay, which one?
Well, I don't remember.
Way to go, Mr. Murray.
It was.
Oh yeah, there is.
It
There
was
is. I
the-
covered long division. I covered that. Go ahead.
There was one that, you know, with that little eye.
Imaginary numbers. We covered that in class.
We did.
Yeah. But I'll cover it again if you want me to.
Maybe that was the day I was out.
Say it one more time.
Maybe I was out that day.
Okay. All right. For 3.6, write long division. That's what we're going to be doing. Now, I am a proponent of completing the square because there is no restrictions to completing the square. You can use completing the square even when something is not factored. Okay? Why do I use long division over synthetic division? Because long division is not restricted. Synthetic division is. You can't use synthetic division all the time. So I am a teacher that teaches you one way, and one way covers everything. So I'm not going to teach you 2 or 3 ways, and then you pick and choose, because y'all end up screwing that up. So I'm not going to do that. So we're going to teach long division. So let's take this first example, and I'm just going to take it because it's right here, and I don't have to think up one. So x minus 3, let me snip it, and then I'll just take it over to the whiteboard. You will have 2 or 3 of these on the test. And that's it. Out of 3.6, that's all you're going to have. Because I don't do long division. I mean synthetic. Because then I have to tell you when you can use it and when you can't.
So far, the chapters that would be on the next test are 3.4 and 3.6, or is there another one in there?
3.1 to 3.1, 3.2,
3.3.
3.3, 3.4, and I'm going to touch a little bit on 3.5, and then long division 3.6. The only thing on 3.5 I'm going to show you is some pictures. That's all I'm going to show you. And I'm going to put 2 questions on the test. What is this and what is this? Pretty simple. Okay. Okay, I got that saved. Now pull up the whiteboard. Trying to find the whiteboard. Where is the whiteboard? There it is. Now, long division is one of those things that people have had in high school, and they either learned it or they what? They didn't. Okay? It's not one of those things you can get by with. People hate it. Well, it's not that difficult if you're taught to do one thing and make sure you do that one thing every single time. And that is, when you're given long division, you make sure you fill in all the what?
Blank.
All the blanks. Now, how do you know where the blanks are? Well, you put everything in descending order. And if something's missing, you put it in there. Well, what do you mean, Hubert? Well, let's write it in long division standard. We're putting x minus 3 into 3x cubed minus 2x plus 5. Now, I might have told y'all this before. I might not have, but I'm fixing to tell you now. Every term in mathematics has a number and a variable. Every term. Okay? Text your friends for those that are texting while I'm talking. Because there's been 2 of y'all that's done it this morning. Okay? X to the first, there's a 1, minus 3, x to the 0. 3x to the third, minus 2x to the first, plus 5x to the 0. Does everybody agree with what I just wrote there? Every term in mathematics has a variable and a constant. Now, take your handy dandy highlighter and check the guy on the outside. The leading coefficient, or the leading exponent, is what? 1. So that means the next one has to be what? 0. Is anything missing? No. What would be missing? Well, if you had x squared minus 3x to the 0, then something would be missing. Let's check this one. 3, 1, 0. Is anything missing?
Yes.
Something is missing. So you have to put a blank there. I put the term. I don't put a blank. The blank always messed me up. So I take and I put a term there. This you can write back the way it was, x minus 3, or you can rewrite it 1x minus 3x to the 0. You can write it like that if you want to. 3x to the third plus 0x squared minus 2x to the first plus 5x to the 0. This term I put in because I didn't have it. It's not represented. There is no way that you can do. Bless you. Was that a cough?
That was a cough.
Okay, no coughing. Bless you. I thought it was a sneeze. If you don't have a term, you cannot do long division if you don't address that term. You either have to put a blank there, or you have to put a space, or you have to put a 0 term there. And that's what people forget to do, and they can't do the long division because then they get confused. Because if you multiply everything out, then you're going to get exponents that don't match up. And then that's when you quit. Take it from me. I used to do that. So now we're ready. So these 3 steps, from here to here, is just making sure you can what? 2 or 3 steps that you have to do before you actually can do the problem. Now, once you get it to this point, then you need to clean it up and drop all the stuff that you don't need, or you can leave it on there because you're going to be adding and subtracting exponents, so it might help you. It's up to you. It's not going to do it. No. Okay, forget it. Now, at this point, the only thing that you need to focus on is this guy. Because this is the kite. Why do I not worry about this? Because what does the tail do to the kite? What does the tail do? It follows the kite. You don't worry about this. Most of the time, students look at this and they go, I don't know how many times x minus 3 will go into that. You don't worry about x minus 3. You only worry about what? The x. Or whatever that leading term is. This is the only thing you worry about. Okay? So, once you worry about that x, now you can divide. How many times, now be careful, don't blurt out an answer, because most of the time y'all blurt out the wrong answer because you're not thinking in terms of the exponent. How many times will x to the first go into 3x to the third?
3x.
Good. Most people say something different. They say twice. Okay? So 3x squared times 1x to the first. 3 times 1 is 3. X to the second times x to the first is x to the third. Now you worry about your kite. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. X squared times x to the 0 is what? X to the second. And what do we do whenever you do long division? 2 will go into 7. 3 times. 3 times 2 is what? 6. What do we always do right here? Subtract. So you subtract here. Now there's 2 ways to do it. You can subtract the number or you can distribute the negative. Okay, I'm going to say that again. You can just put a negative out here like this and you can subtract. Or you can say, well, I'm going to take that negative and I'm going to distribute it. And that'll give me a negative here and a what? I don't care how you do it. I'm going to leave it like that because I don't want to erase it again. What will normally, if you do things correctly, what will happen to that first column? It always does what? That far left column will always cancel out. Unless you do something quirky. And 0x squared plus 9x squared is what? And the negative 2x comes to help out. Now how many times, again, you're not worried about 3, you're worried about the x. How many times will 1x to the first go into 9x squared? 9x times. 9x times would be 9x squared. And 9x times negative 3x to the 0 is what? Well, let's do it separately. 9 times negative 3 is negative what? 27. And x to the first times x to the 0 is x to the first. And negative 2 minus 27 is what? Negative 29x. And what comes down to help out? 5. X to the 0. Now how many times will 1x go into negative 29x?
Just
Negative 29 times. What?
does that 27 not become?
Yeah, it comes positive. You're right.
'Cause you just-
The 25?
Yeah.
Thank you. I just caught it when you asked that question. 25. Yeah, because I distribute. I was running out of room. So 25x, and that would be 25 times. And 25 times 1x is what?
20.
Negative 25x. Remember, it's negative. Negative times 1 is negative. And then negative 25.
It's positive.
Because remember we changed it to a positive 25, so positive.
Because it's 20. It's positive 27 minus 2.
Okay, thank you. Right, so that would be positive. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Okay, now what? Okay, so that would be a regular 25. And then what is 25 times negative 3?
Negative 75.
And again, this will go out. This becomes a positive, correct?
Yes.
Please make sure. And that would be 80 remainder. Now there's 2 ways to write the answer. One way to write the answer is, well, let's go back. 2 will go into 7 3 times at least 1 remainder. So what do you do with that 1? Put it over what? 2, like that. So the way that you would do that here is you would say, okay, there's my 3. So 3x squared plus 9x plus 25. And then they put a comma. Usually you put a comma when you do this. And then, what's my remainder? 80
X,
over what?
X minus 3.
Okay, that's one way to write it. The other way is just write 3x squared plus 9x plus 25 are what? 80, with a remainder of 80. And I would put that comma there also. So another way to write it would be 3x squared plus 9x plus 25 with a remainder of 80. That's another way to write it. Okay. We will finish chapter 3 Monday. That means we will probably go over the test Monday. So that means y'all need to be finishing up. And I wouldn't worry about, the only thing you need to do on 3.6 is long division. I don't know if I put all the long division on there or not. And 3.5, I'll cover that Monday. It's only going to be 2 or 3 problems. And we'll probably go over the test Monday. Okay? Alright, I know who left and who was here, so y'all get out of here. Have a good day. Have a good weekend.
You should have fun in Livonia.
I'm going to have fun in Livonia.
Sitting here.
I'm going to